Confirm or deny, MLB All-Star Week is the best All-Star event of the four major sports.
Oh, that's hard because we talked about how great the home run derby is, but I really think MLS has got it right with the All-Stars going up against these European teams.
Soccer guy goes soccer.
So,
What a shock.
yeah,
Shocker.
I know.
I did say
would be
four
predictable.
major sports.
Oh, yeah, I would go with baseball.
For the purposes of this segment, we'll say 5.
Okay, fine, my friend. I think that the MLS, puts a good effort in there, but Major League Baseball, because of the home run derby, the 2-night festival that it is, I give it to Major League Baseball.
I'm going to confirm it as well. I think that the home run derby just takes the cake. That's the one that I think everyone tunes in for.
Sure.
Just watching these guys hit sluggers. So I'm going to confirm MLB is the best.
I'll deny it. I'll deny it because I got
have to be different.
I got a bone to pick with not the home run derby, which is the best of the gimmicky contests. I think it's better than the slam dunk contest. It's better than any of the NHL fastest skater stuff. I mean, the NHL fastest skater had me for a while. Hardest slap shot when Chara was ruling that was kind of cool. But it's, the one thing about like the 450-foot dinger is still an amazing thing to watch. And I think Vladdy put on a show last night that was great. But the All-Star game is it's losing steam. And I mean, I think one of the reasons tonight, you got one of the most exciting young players that we've seen in a long time in Ellie De La Cruz with the Cincinnati Reds, who, as we were talking about off air, stole second, third, and home in one inning the other day, and he's not in the game. It's like, and I understand why he didn't want to go to the home run derby, and commissioner had the right to give him a commissioner's pick into the game and didn't do it, but they're just a little tone deaf on what people want to see. And we want to see that guy. I'll tell you that right now. Most people, he's probably the story of baseball outside of Shohei Ohtani this year. So I don't think baseball gets it right enough. So if I had to go with the full weekend, I'd go with the NBA. The NBA All-Star Weekend has a lot going on, and the game's usually okay, even though it's a no defensive thing. They actually play pretty hard down the stretch. So I'd still have to give it to the NBA.
Can't deny that.
No.
Well, I'm surprised. No love for the Pro Bowl, eh? None.
I've never been to Hawaii.
You mean the dodgeball bowl or whatever the
man.
heck they're playing these days?
And it just gets worse and worse every year. Like who's even? I remember for a while I would at least try and watch the beginning, and then I would just eventually tune it out. But now it's like the second it's on, it's like, all right, I'm out. Anyways, moving on. Confirm or deny, both Austin Matthews and William Nylander have new contracts with the Leafs before the start of training camp.
I'm going to deny this. And I think there's a chance that one of them has a contract. And if I'm going to pick one, it's going to be Austin Matthews because I believe he's the priority. But I'm denying it because the question's for both. I don't think William Nylander comes to training camp with an extension. I believe he starts the year. And I think that there's no urgency to do it yet. And I'm not sure that there will be urgency to get it done before training camp. And also, I just think that we've seen Willie hold out in the past. I think he's stubborn for what he wants. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve it and doesn't have the right to do so, but I just think that nothing's going to get done before training camp. So I'm a deny on this one.
I'm with you on it, Peter. I'm with you on the deny. We heard Bruce Boudreau talk about how, and I'm with you. Matthews will sign, I think, but Bruce Boudreau pointed to a factor that doesn't get mentioned enough. It's not William Nylander. It's not necessarily Louis Gross, who is William Nylander's agent and was also the agent for Johnny Gaudreau, who, was negotiating with Brad Treliving and allowed his client to go into a season without a contract and ended up leaving Calgary and the Flames for nothing in free agency, which is the nightmare scenario for the Leafs in this case. But it's also Michael Nylander, as Bruce Boudreau pointed out, who was always a difficult guy to sign. Bruce mentioned when he was playing in Washington, kind of a family thing there, where they're hardballers when it comes to contracts. And I think the father's handed it down to the son. The son has been very staunch in his ability to, keep a poker face and hold all his cards close to his chest and let it play out. So I don't see a rush there, and I just don't see how they're going to get to the right number between now and the start of training camp.
I'm with you. And I also got to deny, too. I think they get one of the deals done. Matthews seems to be the favorite in that camp, but I'll deny it because it gives us a lot more to talk about on TSN.
Yeah, 100%. And see, one thing I actually could see happening is I could see Matthews having an extension and Nylander dealt before the start of training camp.
It might have to come to that.
Yeah, probably a lot more likely than
Hot
both of
take
them
from the
having a team.
grappler.
Yeah, once in a while I'll jump in here with something. All right, moving on. Actually, pre-confirm or deny. Vlad Guerrero Jr. currently has 13 home runs on the season, sitting at the unofficial halfway point of the MLB regular season. Blue Jays have played 91 games. I believe he's appeared in 88 of them. Confirm or deny, Vlad hits more home runs the rest of the season than he did prior to the All-Star break, which there are 71 games remaining on the season.
I got to confirm this. I will go with the theory that Steve Phillips kind of threw around here yesterday on OverDrive, that the home run derby will be the key in the ignition that revs up Vladdy Guerrero's season. What did Steve say yesterday, Brendan? That when you sort of hit those repeated home runs, you start hunting the bottom of the baseball. He hasn't been sort of getting that launch angle going. He's only got the 13 home runs. This is a guy who hit 48 home runs 2 seasons ago. So you have to believe there's more there. And maybe this moment in the sun in Seattle last night is the thing that gets him going.
I'm also going to confirm. I think that this is a confidence builder and a momentum builder. And he's hit one home run in the Rogers Park. Or like it's like one or two.
It took him a long time to get one. He's got more than that now, but I don't.
Well, he did it leading up.
Yeah.
Like, right. Anyway, I think he's going to get hot now. I think that this is really good for him to have won this. He went in wanting to win it. He did it. So I think it's good for his confidence. For a guy who had 48 home runs 2 seasons ago, I think now he's just going to be feeling good about it. So I'm going to confirm this.
I got to confirm that too. I mean, 13 from a guy that is capable of hitting 30 plus. I think in any season that he plays 100 games or less than that. I think this is a guy that I wouldn't want to bet against. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of that. So I got to confirm too.
No, and the 13 is such a small number too, and I'm pretty sure it's Bo Bichette who leads the Jays with 15 home runs. And going into this year, something John Schneider's talking about, Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro was playing more, big boy, smart baseball, less home runs, focusing more on getting on base. So this is obviously a part of the game plan for them to hit less home runs. But yeah, 13, another 13 or 14 over a 71 game span. Like, I got to think that's almost a lock for Vlad. So, I'm confirming it as well, in case anyone was asking.
Yeah.
Confirm or deny a Canadian NHL team other than the Leafs and Oilers will reach the playoffs this coming season?
I'll confirm that.
Okay, who you got?
I'll confirm that. Man, I think the Flames are going to get it right. I think that the Flames, were knocking on the door for parts of last season. I do think that, Kadri and Huberdeau didn't settle in kind of the way that they had hoped for. But I think that optimistic, coming into this new season with an off season of some change, that you're going to have a bump. You're going to have a new coach bump, new management bump. I think they'll have that in Calgary.
I'm going to deny just based off of the contracts that exist today, because I think that there's a lot of, I don't want to use the expression, but a lot of tire fires around the Canadian markets right now.
It's a good expression.
Yeah.
Makes for great talk radio.
There's a lot of issues, I think, that are in the Canadian market right now. And I know you got a sleeper here with Calgary that you just picked, but there's a lot of guys that want out of there.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of repair work to do. And I just think that, Ottawa's another one where there's a lot of change. DeBrincat just wanted out. He got out. So I think that there's a lot of turnover going on in the Canadian market. So I'm going to deny that.
I'll confirm it. I'm with you on Calgary. I think that, in terms of blame the coach scenarios, blaming Darryl Sutter for the underperformance of a lot of those guys, certainly Huberdeau would fall into that category.
Right.
It's plausible. It's plausible. I don't think it's always a cop out in some ways, but I also think there's some real reasons why guys don't perform for certain coaches, and I think Darryl pushed that boundary of what's reasonable in today's pro sports environment.
Yeah, but what's interesting though is Darryl is gone, and guys were still saying I want out. So I think everyone from the outside was like, oh, Darryl must have been the issue, but now it's like, well, guys are still saying that. Why?
Yeah, well, look, they're not getting out if they're under contract.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they're gonna have to play, and they're gonna have to. And I think most guys will play to maximize their value.
Of course,
trade chips.
And for the record, there's a lot of good pieces in those dressing rooms.
I think there is.
But just in terms of being a playoff contention team, I don't know that the other Canadian teams are.
Yeah, I think Montreal's still a ways away. Vancouver's miles away.
Yeah.
And I think Ottawa, they're in one of those situations where it's got to happen now because you got a new owner in town. If it doesn't happen fast, you got to think everybody's getting fired
Seems like it.
or something close.
And the Jets are just too far off, you think?
Well, they also have their issues, right?
A lot of changes.
They'd be
lot
the
of
team that they'd be the team that you wouldn't want to bet against too. I mean, there's reasons to believe that.
But again, lots of great pieces.
Yeah,
Still, right?
plenty. I mean, real goaltending, lots of other things that make you go. They can be there, but you're right. Like the dysfunction there has been a problem, and until you see it corrected, it's hard to believe in it.
Right.
Okay, one final confirm or deny. Brendan, I'm expecting big things from you on this one.
Oh, buddy, I feel like we're going to the beautiful game here.
Yes, not one of the major four. Okay, I'll stop with that.
Okay.
Confirm or deny, Leo Messi will have a bigger impact on MLS than David Beckham did.
Oh, such a good question. I will confirm this, and the easy answer is the day and age that we live in, where Messi has joined in this social media age in which matches are streamed. They've just done this $1 billion deal, $2 billion deal with Apple. This is going to take the American League, Major League Soccer, to a global stratosphere. And you will have the rest of the world watching and paying attention. And you had a bit of that when Beckham joined, but at a different time, where it wasn't accessible the same way, where it wasn't on TV in the middle of the night. Now you can watch it on demand. Now you can watch it anytime. Now you could just watch the highlights and clips on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and Threads. And that wasn't the case with Beckham. And Messi is a bigger star. Beckham is one of the most marketable athletes ever. But Messi is one of the best players of all time and one of the most marketable athletes ever. And MLS has got it right with marketing him. So, yes, I will confirm that.
I'm also going to confirm, and you took a lot of the words out of my mouth.
I'm sorry,
as well.
Peter, I got it.
Wow. Well, I think David Beckham was sort of this tipping point, right? That sort of put the soccer league on the map here.
Sure.
And now bringing over Messi, like Messi is Messi. Like he's just the guy. He's the GOAT that everybody talks about. So in terms of just impact, which is what the confirm or deny is, I believe that Messi's going to have a bigger impact, and therefore I'm going to confirm that this is it.
I got to confirm it. And I like where you're going with the whole idea that this could really elevate Major League Soccer. It's not going to be the premiership anytime soon in terms of the global leagues. But Grappler, I know what you're saying about they're not one of the four majors, but you start looking at, I remember Richard Petty, former CEO of Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment, telling me the story of how he went to buy a soccer team in New York one morning about 20 years ago. And he stopped for breakfast with Gary Bettman, and Gary Bettman laughed at him when he told him his afternoon plans.
Wow.
Gary Bettman said, they should give you those teams for free. Why are you spending any money on those teams? Petty bought TFC for $10 million. $10 million. Right. Most recently it's been valued, I think, at about $700 million.
Yeah.
Right? Like 18 years later.
That was the expansion fee in 2006 was just $10 million. And
so,
San Diego just paid
So I'm saying if
600.
you kind of extrapolate, there'll be a day when those franchises can be worth more than NHL franchises. And
Well, especially
it's
if
not
they
gonna be too
continue
far away.
bringing in talent
Yeah.
like Messi. They just continue to turn that over.
Right.
And what will that do for the league and the values of the team?
So in terms of vision, I think the guys that run that league, they got a pretty good vision of how to take it to the next level. And Apple and Messi are they're fairly big names in the world. I like attaching myself to those.
in Miami as well. It's not like they're putting Messi in Salt Lake for Real.
So
Salt
that's
Lake.
what Otani's going to do with all his money. He's going to buy one of those teams.
He could.
He might have that's his budget.
That's his budget.
$600 million, which is what we're talking about Otani's contract being, is exactly the last expansion fee for San Diego, the 30th team. They paid
Crazy.
$600 million. I'm pretty sure that was the total.
Yeah,
now.
well,
Pretty good return
I saw
there for,
valuation,
Mr.
whatever
Petty.
it is.
It's
Richard likes to tell that story. Funny enough, it makes him look fairly good as a businessman.
It's a pretty good story.
He was a good
Well,
fellow.
Jordan had a pretty good one there with the Hornets, too.
Yeah,
It seems to be like the secret weapon. Just
Wow.
own a sports
even if you're a
franchise.
terrible owner
Well, that's just it.
like Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, JP just corrected me that it was $500 million for San Diego.
Okay.
It's round.
Well, TFC's
They
been
should have gone to
valued.
Vegas.
TFC's been valued in the $700 million range.
But an expansion fee, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so
we know how much
Otani will actually
Seattle
have
paid.
extra money after he buys the team.
Yeah, I guess he'd actually have a little extra money.
He's got a little more.
Yeah, you should get in business with him. You know, that's it.
Oh, I'm really good at spending other people's money.
Diversify different
Yeah.
sports. There we go. I like that. I'm pretty good at spending other people's money as well.